to you. Uh, it is good to connect and also to know that Materialise as a company is actually in the epitome of offering solutions in 3D medical. And let me congratulate you for the 3D GRAPHY Medical Awards 2020 3D medical software of the year. And also, if you're aware, 3D Graphy Medical Conference was a recent conference that we did. It was a global conference. The larger intent was to connect with the end users. So 75% of our respondents are all end users who are doctors, surgeons, biomedical engineers, researchers who've done some great work in 3D printing. And our tilt is always towards that end. And we've been able to know who is doing what in this space. And we also work on a parameter for KIC, that's knowledge implementation and customer responsiveness. Because for every awards that you do, and but having said that, in the country where 3D printing is yet to explore and get to that kind of a stage, we are still in the inception stage. But we believe that an award and recognition is always going to help the technology to grow because respondents will get to know who is doing what in this space. Though today we can only count on fingers who is doing what, but I'm sure with time there'll be more clutter, and we believe we want more clutter to happen, including in the technology space, maybe machine, software, services. So I think it's a good time that we are actually in, and let me once again congratulate you for the efforts. And it's commendable to know that Materialise, as a global respondent, is doing some great work. And your solutions are always going to be there at the desk of a doctor to make the right decision in terms of making a choice. Because I think it's medically, if you have tools which are convenient, makes things more easier because they have to
Absolutely.
up and on their toe, and I think because it's human life that we are dealing in.
Yeah.
So congratulations for the journey
Thank
as a company globally. And let me ask you, Ayushi, what's been your experience in the Indian market? Since you are representing the Indian markets for Materialise, let me know brief for the audience to also know in terms of what is how the company is started in India and what is the progression.
Shibu, first of all, thanks for, giving our company an award and, a recognition that we have been there in the market for 30 years now and globally. And when we talk about India market, India, we have been operating in India since 20 years now. Earlier, it was operated from our HQ, which was Belgium. And now we have been operating through our APAC office, which is based out of Malaysia. So the trend is quite promising. We used to feel the India market is a reactive market, wherein we would, it was like a need kind of a thing wherever there is a need and we would, supply our softwares. But now we are seeing that a lot of awareness is created, at not at the a professional level, as in with a surgeon or with the medical device companies, but also at the student level, So students, final year students of academic institutes, of medical colleges, they are, in their thesis, they want to adopt 3D, right? So they want to write thesis on 3D printing and 3D planning. So that is how the need is being created. And that awareness can be actually, seen, can be felt that, yes, the market is actually shifting towards more 3D, and they are moving from conventional. So it's a quite promising trend. A little slow, however, if you compare it with the Western world, but I feel that still it's quite promising. If we see our journey since last 20 years in India market, we see that it's quite promising, and we are. A lot of different requirements are coming in from 3D, So we have got craniomaxillofacial, orthopedic, we have cardiovascular coming in, we have dental. So dental is like the biggest market right now. So yes, I think it's quite promising as far as the Indian market is concerned.
And also because there is the market is so wide and becomes even challenging for you to focus on each segment, because then connect with them. What is the size of the organization that you have been able to set up in India, Ayushi? Just for my knowledge, so that we can I can also take the question from there on.
So right now for Materialise, it's just two of us who are based out of India. So I have my colleague Avinash. He is handling the AM manufacturing software part, which is the Magic software, and I am completely, devoted to the medical segment. So as I mentioned before, that directly we were operating from Belgium and then from Malaysia, but it was last year that they have decided to put a person there because now they feel that there is a need, of physically meeting customers at a regular interval, and now the need has been increasing. So right now it's just two of us, and we have our two counterparts who are the application engineers who are based out of Malaysia. So they travel, to and fro whenever there is a training involved or whenever there is some requirement of a technical, justification. Yeah.
Okay. And as the sizable market would actually mature, maybe I'm sure you would also want to set up your
Absolutely.
office.
Absolutely.
That's been
Yes.
the standard practice for all the companies to make a choice. But yeah, but having said that, to get to that stage, it's also important to work in confluence with respondents who can be resellers for your product. How do you channelize that as what is your strategy in that area?
So honestly, right now we are still gauging the market, to be very frank. So we do not have any authorized resellers, if I would mention it. I mean, we do not have a distributorship, established. However, we are really looking forward towards that, since we are not that big in Indian market, as we compare ourselves globally. Uh, but we have always tried working directly with the end customers, so that we can reach them directly. Whatever issues are there, we provide all the solutions there and then. So we do not have a behavioral of having a distributor, but however, we realize that in Indian market, because it's too wide and too diverse, as you mentioned, you need people, you need channels who are very strong. So we are honestly, seriously looking, towards maybe creating or establishing a distributor network. Might not happen that quickly, but we are going towards that direction. So right now, it's more of a need based kind of a thing. So if we have certain lead coming in from a certain person, we would go with that person. So right now, it's very need based. But then yes, we are trying to establish certain kind of hierarchy, if you call it, as far as the distributor network is concerned, so that we reach to even tier two and tier three cities, and not just restrain ourselves to tier one.
Yeah. So also one more thing is, organizations like yours who have been doing some great work and being globally well placed. Indian markets operate very differently. So what's been the challenge for you? I'm sure you would have experienced it already, because this is Materialize is a very unique technology, and you're offering some great solutions. But penetration is the key. So I know that when we talk about distribution, more than that, I think there has to be a solutions providers bench where it's more to do with the connect more than business. So the approach has to be slightly different. Just to brief you about ourselves, now 3D Graphy as a platform, we have built I mean, it's been 3D printing world has been the larger setup that we've initiated in the year 2014, covering all the sectors. And we've been able to connect with the end user because our tilt is towards the end user, Ayushi. 85 to 90% of our respondents are all end users. And that one person sometimes is going to be an influencer for even 1,000 people. So that is what we believe in. And it's actually took a long way for us to build this platform. Now, our platform is good for you and everybody who is actually in the business of technology, may it be machines, software, or scanning solutions, or imaging. Or now we've also added one more technology is the VR technology and also the AR technology. So the other day when I was talking to respondents, they also said that you need to have zero one particular coding for all software companies if they would want to get in the augmented space, as in the VR space. So we are also trying to connect with all the software companies to see that how we can benefit that, because when we actually offer solutions to medical practitioners or hospitals or any of these medical centers, they are looking at an end-to-end kind of a solution for all that they. So what I believe is, for something that we've initiated, it's important that we need to have a strong pool of respondents representing a particular specialization more than distributorship. So I think that was because it's a very sensitive market. It's only with people and respondents who because it's very sensitive. They will only believe in people whom they trust. Medical is very different compared to any. So we built this panel. We have 162 doctors today, Ayushi, who are connected with 3D graphy, and they come
Yeah.
from various different specialization. And post the conference, now we are actually also planning to do workshops for each specialization. We are doing one for orthopedic application that's on the 12th of December, and we want to progress every 10 days. We will be doing these workshops. Now, where I'm seeing is, yeah, and how is this happening? I will tell you, because we have this 3D graphy panel members who have consciously got associated with us. Reason is because they want to learn and they want to grow with this technology, and they come with a kind of an approach. So it's never to post things on them, rather for them to come back to us and say that this is what we would require and this is where we want to get into. So I think I know it's very premature to even go in for distributorship. Rather, I'm sure your strategy is very right in terms of identifying the right people who you can work with. So are they registered, certified doctors who you work very closely? And you did mention the other day when we were just having a casual chat. This is also for the larger interest of the community and the doctors to know what would be your strategy, so they can come with that kind of an approach. Because your solution is really unique, but it needs to have the right frame of mind for them to also make a choice. Please.
Yeah. So as far as the network is considered, so we do have a network online on our Materialise website, and there people are in touch with each other through blogs and all. But as far as the Indian market is considered, we have certain users, I would say, who have been associated with us and who have been propagators of 3D technology since a very long time. So they have been using the software since 4-5 years now, and they are quite happy with it. So we do not have a community, I would say a documented community as such, wherein we know that okay, people will meet on a maybe monthly basis or a bi-monthly basis, even virtually. But yes, however, whenever we have certain customer or whenever we have certain surgeon who is coming to us and says that okay, I want to know more, what we do from our end, we connect him to our users who have been using. So if they have certain technical issues or if they want to know more about the software, we are there to educate them. We have our application engineers. We also provide trainings. We can customize trainings for our end customers depending on what level to what level they want to. So it's a very need based, as I mentioned earlier, because it's not that overall all of a sudden all of the surgeons are coming and asking us, but whenever we have those queries, we make sure that we connect them to our users, so that or just share some case studies wherein we feel that that software would be applicable for their workflow. So that's how we connect. So right now it's quite, I would say, at a very nascent stage, because our community, especially in the hospital segment, is not that wide in India. It's very limited. However, if you talk about academic market, or if you talk about our medical devices market, we are still there, predominantly present there, as far as the market is considered. But in the hospital segment, we it's a very small set of people who are doing this, and so that's how we it's more of a one-on-one kind of a thing which we do.
And I also know for the fact that there are certain hospitals that you're well connected, like I know Amrita Medical Research Institute. Dr. Mahesh is an active respondent. So places where you have been able to position well, and also offer these solutions, it's well set in terms of what is expected. And so I believe, but you are also at the right track in terms of also being well registered with the academia going forward, in terms of colleges, because that's where you have aspirants growing, and that's where they will become professionals and they will come in the market eventually. And then I think that's a good strategy also, and it's the right way forward in terms of offering solutions so that everybody is connected. So good, but what I also want to know is your progression, and also to know which is the specialization in medical that your focus is right now, Ayushi, because that also helps, medical practitioners take a choice in terms of, what is your focus, so then it becomes easier for you to connect with them.
So, Shibu, right now, honestly, I would say orthopedic is definitely, has been the largest adopter of 3D printing technology, followed by craniomaxillofacial, and then cardiovascular. So, if I have to
I'm so sorry, I missed you there. Orthopedics and because I think the voice. Yeah.
Yeah, so we have orthopedics, followed by craniomaxillofacial.
Oh yes. Okay.
Then you top it up with cardiovascular. So
Great.
especially in cardiovascular, we have seen in pediatric cases, I think the application of 3D printing, where the patient would get benefited. So that's huge in pediatric cases. So if I have to point three specialities in the healthcare segment, I would say these three for sure, hands down. And then as you mentioned, what route are we taking? So right now in the hospital segment, we are trying to create an awareness first. So dental, especially, I feel that yes, there always has been an element of cosmesis. That's why people want to see everything visual. So that's where 3D came in. That why don't we give personalized solutions? So that we get a better cosmesis effect. So rest, orthopedic and craniomaxillofacial as well as cardiovascular, I feel that awareness has to be created first. So we, starting from this year, so this is the first time I think we are doing an event, an online event on 26th of December, wherein we are calling three surgeons from orthopedic, craniomaxillofacial as well as cardiovascular, and it's going to be just about what are the benefits of 3D printing in a hospital, and how do you set up a 3D point of care lab, so what all is required, and we have three faculties who would be speaking on it. So that's like a small attempt which we are trying to do, and just to create an awareness at the very grassroots level so that surgeons at least get aware about it, so their decision to go for it comes later, but at least they should know that this technology exists in the market.
Good.
The awareness level in dental and craniomaxillofacial is definitely there, but as far as orthopedic and cardiovascular is considered, it's I would say comparatively lower. So that's what we're trying to do, is to at least get them at power so that the idea of 3D point of care lab in a hospital comes into existence, because it's not only for one department, so it has to be a multi-speciality effort. It has to be a multi-pronged approach wherein all the department utilize the facility, and that's where the ROI for a hospital, if we talk about them, so that would also come into picture, because there will be multi-speciality who would be using that the software as well as the printer. So that's our objective as far as the medical segment is considered, as far as we talk about the hospital segment.
Fantastic, great. So, Ayushi, we also believe that see, we are a platform. You are a service provider in terms of offering services, and we believe that awareness is the key, because we've seen that as we progress, doctors coming back and saying, "Sir, is there this is the solution we were not even aware of," and you would be surprised to know there are many hospitals who don't even know about various 3D printing solutions that has been offered. We have 54 categories that we've been able to evaluate as per validation in the category of the awards. And I'm sure you would be able to experience that tomorrow in terms of what these innovations are. Because there are so many innovators out in the market, even when it comes to medical devices or products or services, offering solutions from the doctor's end. So doctors will need what are the tools which can be used to make these happen. So I think awareness is very, very important, and we are doing our bit as a platform. And because you're the person who has actually got the technology, you are the company with the technology, and we are the platform, and we can do our bit in terms of what needs to be done. You can do your bit in terms of what you can do, and I think working in conference will actually help, and that's what we've seen with all the other companies also who are in the technology space, that we plan to go forward in terms of communicating, because awareness, it all starts from awareness. And what do you think about a platform like these, Ayushi? 3D Graphy as a platform?
So Shibu, I think 3D Graphy as a platform is very good in terms of the first point, to create the awareness. So that's something which is very essential right now in Indian market, and as you mentioned correctly, that a lot of people even don't know about that. What can you actually do with 3D printing? In a medical sector or in a hospital sector, and how does it apply to my specialty? So a very basic level of awareness is very essential about 3D printing per se and the applications of 3D printing. So I think channels and platforms like 3D Graphy and other associations, they're very important in terms of creating that ground level of awareness, because you have got your own reach, as you mentioned, that you have got so many surgeons and doctors who are empaneled under you. So they also become your spokesperson, and 3D printing or 3D software spokesperson. So I think that's a very good platform wherein we OEMs and companies like Materialise can actually spread that awareness that yes, 3D printing exists in medical sector, and we are a part of that, and we can also show our accomplishments or our, I would say, success stories, of 30 years at how we as a company have helped, medical sector in, improving the patient's life at the grassroots level. Yeah.
And also to recognize these initiatives, because that is very, very important. We started in the year 2014 with the awards, basically because we need to know who is doing what and who is doing something. Because now we can count on fingers, companies maybe, but as we progress, this will actually become a big market. And it's important that people should know who is the initiators. And we also follow a clear principle in terms of a parameter, that is KIC, knowledge, implementation, and customer responsiveness. Knowledge and implementation is the key to actually be nominated, and customer responsive, which means testimonials coming from the customer. So who better a judge can be than a customer? So that makes things easier in terms of our format. And congratulations once again, Ayushi, for your awards.
Thank you.
And wishing you all the best. I'm sure there'll be a lot of learning as we progress. And have a wonderful day. Take care. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks, Shibu.